Hi everybody, it's Sarah Cray with Let's Make Art, and I teach watercolor. And today we are painting our September page in our watercolor calendar. Oh. If you don't know what we're talking about, every single month we paint a spread in our watercolor calendars that we have. Now the calendars are printed on watercolor paper so you can paint on them, and they're dateless, and so you can keep them forever, you can paint and gift, you can do whatever you want. But it's been really fun to kind of create our calendar together, and I think we still have some on our website if you want to jump in on the fun, okay?
Okay.
So for today, our spread, we are going to paint a Luna Moth.
Wait, did I need to do that there?
It's good. It was well deserved.
Okay.
I had like a woo-woo experience with a Luna Moth recently where like there was one outside and it like clung to me, and it was like the middle of the night and I was trying to figure out how I can get it to like fly away. We turned off all the lights in our house and we live in the middle of nowhere, so there were no other lights. And I just like held it up to the full moon and it flew off my hand towards the full moon after refusing to leave my hand for about 10 minutes. And it was one of those things where I was just like, did that just happen? And these things are huge. If you've ever seen a Luna Moth in person, they're like the size of my hand.
Yeah, they're giant and gorgeous.
And gorgeous. And so when it was on my hand, I took a bunch of pictures of it and I painted it in my journal, and you guys had a really positive response to it. And so I was just like, let's paint it for a calendar.
I would like to take this moment. Can you put that picture back? To apologize for our office printer. It's having a hard time with the lines.
Oh, the lines. Yeah.
Our print heads need cleaned or something. I don't know.
It's fine. And the other thing too, for Luna Moths, if you may not know, because of course after that happened, I like Googled, what does a Luna Moth mean? Like what does it represent? And it represents transformation or rebirth, or like a new beginning. And for me, September is my birthday month. And so of course that's special to me. It's like a marker of a new year. But you can absolutely take this outline that I will be providing. You can find it in our description and you can paint it for whatever month you want. Okay?
All right.
All right. So we're going to be doing this project in 5 steps. Our very first step is we're going to paint the background. Our second step is we're going to do our wash on our moth. Our third step is we're going to put in the values on our moth. The fourth step is we're going to do wing details. And then the fifth step is just finishing details like stars or whatever you want.
Perfect.
And what you can see here of what I have, you're like, what is going on here? So basically, this is my photo. And then I resize it in a computer program so I know it will fit on the paper. And then I edit things out. So I'm not going to put a hand in here. And if you actually look at the photo, the light source of the moon is coming off on the left-hand side of this moth. But compositionally, I'm actually going to move that light source to over here. So then the moth is facing the light source, and that just makes a stronger painting. So whenever you go to approach your own paintings using your own reference photos or even free ones that you find online, you are allowed to adjust if it's going to make the painting stronger. And you might be like, well, how do I know if it's going to make the painting stronger? Understanding composition is one of those things that like you get better with it the more that you do it. So it's just like, do I think the light would look better over here or over here? Now for me, if I were to put the light source over here and the moth on the left-hand side, there would only be this dark value, which would essentially just be dead space. There needs to be a difference over here to activate. And then always a composition is stronger if it's angled. Okay?
Interesting.
All right. So I transferred the outline, and I'll provide just the moth outline. That's all. It's just going to be a moth. So then you guys can position it however you want to on your spread. Okay? Now, let's do our oath and then we'll get to painting.
All right, let me get the bell.
So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
Promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
Promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun.
Thank you. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the background. And I'm going to do that by trying to paint around the moth, essentially. If you want to mask off the moth, feel free to. I just don't care for masking fluid at this moment in time, so I avoid using it. There's no other reason than like I just can't be bothered with it, but it's actually a wonderful tool. And so if you feel good about masking fluid, you can go ahead and use it. Let's
recite the list. Masking fluid, rulers, airlines, bad food.
Yes.
Did I get all of them?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no. You're missing one.
What?
I I get like uncontrollably angry when people give me a flat tire
Oh,
when I'm walking.
Trust me, I know that. That's true.
But it's just like my first reaction is always like pure anger. And then I realize that it's like always an accident. So I like turn and my initial look is always one of like,
Pure
how
rage.
dare you?
Stepped on the back of my shoe.
You stepped on the back of my shoe. And then I'm like, calm down.
Okay. All right. I'll add that one to the list.
Okay. So I'm just using my quill brush, but you can use whatever brush you want. You just want to make sure that the paper is pretty wet. And I'm going to grab Indigo for this. Now I'm using Indigo as opposed to like Sodalite Genuine because Sodalite Genuine is a very similar color. However, it is a granulating color, and that means that the pigments inside this paint would separate and create kind of like this grainy texture. And it's actually really hard to achieve really dark values with granulating paints because the paints don't smooth out evenly, right?
Right.
And then I'm going to actually lift this up and kind of just let the paint go back and forth within this area to kind of smooth out.
Sarah, what if you did like a dark wash with Indigo, whatever you're doing now, and let it dry completely, and then did another wash on top with Sodalite? Would it be dark and granulating, or it would mess everything up?
It wouldn't mess everything up, but usually you can see the granulation and the texture because of the white paper behind it. If there is a dark value behind it, you're not really going to see those pigments separate.
So what you're saying is that's a very foolish question. And
it's not a foolish question. And honestly, I've never tried it, so it's possible that what I'm saying is wrong. I'm just thinking more of like, in my mind, how I know how paints work. What do I think would happen?
Yeah.
But if somebody has tried it and they're like, no, you can do that and it's actually really cool, then like, please let us know. Okay, so here's my dark value. You'll notice that I'm trying to do a lighter value right here. And what that means is I'm essentially not going to pull as much color over there. And then the other thing I'm going to do, if I can find a clean brush, there we go, is you can just lift out while it's damp like this. I'm just going to lift out this color. So then it really does look like it could be the glow of the moon. You can decide how light that value is, okay? I'm going to do another wash on my background just to try and make it as dark as possible. Now, for you guys that have this calendar, I'm just going to tell you this. This watercolor calendar is a cellulose paper as opposed to a cotton paper, which means your paints are going to react differently on it. So just kind of keep that aware. You might be wondering, well, why did you do a cellulose paper instead of 100% cotton? That's because 100% cotton paper is very expensive.
It would have made these calendars not fun to buy. And it would have made
these calendars, if we use 100% cotton paper, this calendar would probably be about $50.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of $15.
Yeah.
So I would rather like have people have the opportunity to paint. Also,
a $50 calendar, I feel like you'd be too precious with. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't want to mess anything up in this.
So anyways, that's our reasoning, okay? Also, this is our LMA brand paper, and if you have liquid watercolors do work better with cellulose paper than 100% cotton paper. They just do. Okay, yes.
That was our second Luna Moth sighting at our cute little home.
It was. The first one, we woke up our oldest daughter because she is she's like the butterfly whisperer. They come to her. She can catch them very easily. They hang around her. It's just like her secret, like her, just a skill set almost.
She's the Disney princess of insects.
Yeah, seriously. And she's just so sweet to them. So we woke her up and she got to hold it and then it flew off. And that was also really magical. So anyways, love them. Okay, that's step one. And we want the paper to dry before we move on to step two. So, and then again, if you want there to be a little bit more of a lighter value, then you would just take a damp brush and kind of wipe where you want that lighter value to be. It's up to you. Now, before I dry this, I actually want to show you guys a little trick I have found. If I am struggling with getting a smooth wash for when I'm doing a wash like this, if you take a large brush that has that's dry and has really soft bristles, you can actually blend, okay? So that looks like...
Oh, nice.
Now, whenever you do this, it's going to lift up some of the pigment, so please just keep that in mind. But it's like a really easy way just to get a more even kind of line. This is harder because I'm kind of working around. If you're using masking fluid, this would work perfectly, but we're not, so. And if you get a little bit of paint into your moth, it's not the end of the world. Don't stress. Okay, that feels better. I still have a little bit of a lighter value right here, but I'm not going to be mad about it because honestly, like the light would continue to glow, all of that kind of stuff, so it's fine.
I have Luna Moth facts. Would you like some?
Yes.
All right. So they're huge. They can get 7 inches long.
Which is bigger than my hand, by the way. My hand is 6 inches.
That's crazy. They, I think they live by us in Missouri because it says that their caterpillars live on walnut trees. And we have a couple walnut trees out in the yard.
Really?
Yeah. Most moths and bugs in general use light like the moon as a navigation. Like if they keep... Okay, let me rewind. Have you ever seen a moth circling a lamp?
Yes.
It's because moths know to keep like the moon on their left and they'll be keep flying straight.
Oh.
So if the light source is really close, keeping it on the left means they fly in circles around it. So as magical as this experience was, I think the Luna Moths in our area get confused because we are the only light source for a long ways around. We're the only house. And so they come to our house, which I love. What was my last one? Oh, the little tails on their wings. I mean, they're decorative and beautiful, but it's thought to distract bat echolocation. Like when a bat is trying to see them, it confuses them. They're like, what is this thing? Should I eat this?
How interesting.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming to
Michael.
Moth Facts.
Excellent facts. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to step 2, and we're going to do the wash of the wing. I'm going to use Q Gold and a tiny bit of Undersea. Now, the reason why I really want to use more of the Q Gold is because looking at my reference photo here, even though in person they're more like a lime green because of like the night and everything, it's kind of like more of a yellow green, and Q Gold actually leans green. So I'm just going to use Q Gold mostly with maybe a touch of Undersea green. And the thing you have to know, and we've painted a Luna Moth before actually, so if you want to go into the archives of our resources and seeing previous lessons, I think it was probably 2018 or 2019 that we did a Luna Moth using liquid. So if you want to check that out, you can. But this one we're going to paint differently. And the reason why is 1, I'm using tube paints, but please just use whatever supplies that you have. And 2, the light source is different. So on our first painting, the light source was kind of like in front of the moth. So then this part, like the body, is actually like white and furry. But because our light source is actually behind our moth and it's more backlit, then the things that are usually highlighted are now shadowed. So then the body is going to be a darker value that we're going to paint on this as opposed to white. Okay, so the light sources kind of switch things up a bit. I'm going to take a little bit of Q Burnt Orange and mix that with my Q Gold so I get kind of a warmer color. And just kind of on the edges here, I'm just going to touch that little bit of like orange along the wing and just kind of let that bleed in. Because if you look closely at Luna Moths, they have like hints of these other colors within this kind of lime green area. And if you want to like push it out, you can.
If you're in there in painting land wondering, how can I tell if it's a moth or a butterfly? Let me give you some quick fire ways to know.
Okay.
Moths have fuzzy antennas. Butterflies usually have just straight, normal antennas. Moths are usually active at night and butterflies during the day. When a butterfly lands, its wings go up together. And when a moth lands, the wings go touch the ground.
Okay.
And this is a fun fact, not really related, but there's 160,000 species of moths, and there's only 17,000 species of butterflies. So there's 10
Whoa.
times the amount of moths.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Q coral and go along the edge while things are damp. Now, for me as an artist, my stylistic preference is when I notice a slight hint of color in a reference, I like to really bring that up. So even though realistically I'm not seeing a lot of red right here, I do get the softest hint of orange and gold right along that edge. And so for me, I'm going to say, let's play with that and let's exaggerate that. That's my own stylistic preference though. And so for some painters who really like realism or are just starting out, that can really throw them off. So I just want to say, that's just because I like it. You don't have to do that. I just love color. Okay, and then while things are still kind of wet here, I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue and a little bit of Q gold, mix that together just to get a little happier, brighter green. And I'm just going to do the softest kind of hint of that green
Overlay.
for these wings. So then when somebody sees this, they go, oh, a Luna Moth. Because even though my reference photo is reading very yellow, we still want people to know what it is.
I got a question, Sarah.
Sure.
On your reference photo up there, I see a very clean, straight cut, like it was done with scissors or a cutter, and then a tear. What happened here?
Oh. I used a paper cutter to cut it, but it wasn't very sharp. And this is like thin printer paper, so it just didn't cut it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our initial wash. And I just want to say, like, because we did this all wet on wet, we're going to get different textures and bleeds. And that is the beauty of watercolor. Really embrace that aspect of it because it creates this kind of unique voice to your painting. And what we're going to do is we are just going to let this dry before we do the next layer. So for the next layer, you see the spots where the wings overlap and it creates a darker value. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to put in next. And that's one of the coolest aspects of painting kind of transparent things is because if you just do another layer where they overlap, then it's going to communicate that sense of layers of transparency. And that's what watercolor is. So it like lends itself really well to that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But just as its base, so if you weren't using watercolor and you were just looking at this reference photo, the biggest difference here is just values. So the areas that are not overlapping have a lighter values. The areas that are overlapping have a darker value. So you can take that rule and you can apply it with whatever medium that you're using.
Another fun moth butterfly differentiator is moths come out of silk cocoons. And butterflies usually come out of hard chrysalis.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if you're watching the thing hatch, that's an easy way to tell, but that's just a fun fact.
Okay. Now I'm ready. So I'm going to let's take a little bit of Undersea, a little bit of Q gold, and a tiny bit of phthalo to get a green. But we don't want it to be too dark. You want it to be 1 or 2 clicks value difference, not 10 clicks value difference. You don't want it to be like black and white. Okay. And it's usually always a good idea to start with like a lighter kind of value because you can always do more layers to darken it. It's really tricky to lighten.
We've seen it before in other paintings, but I feel like when you darken too much, you pretty much just have to darken the rest of the painting to match it.
Yeah.
And that's never fun.
Which, I mean, it's possible. So don't feel like your painting is ruined. You would just have to work your values up. Mm-hmm. So then they match the new values that you introduced. And you want to make sure that your paper is dry before you do this part, or else you'll actually be lifting out color instead of laying it down. And then I like to kind of just unfocus or squeeze my eyes shut because when you do that, it's easier to look at values because when you squeeze, when you like squint, that's what I'm looking for. When you squint your eyes, it doesn't let in as much light. Because there's not as much light in your eyesight, you can't see the details. When you can't see the details, it's easier to focus on big picture things. So whenever I'm trying to look at the composition of something or the values of something, I always squint my eyes because then you can see dark, light, And so here, I'm just making sure, I know that where the layers, the wings overlap, there's a darker value, and I'm just making sure there's not anywhere else. Right here, I can see there's a little bit of a darker value, maybe right there a tiny bit, and down here. So then I'm going to take that information and say, okay, so let's just do a little extra down here and down here, maybe right on the tip of this wing. Okay. Now, how detailed you want these kind of transparent layers to be is up to you. Sometimes just doing the darker value is enough. If you want to take some time to really look at the reference photo and be like, oh, this edge is actually a darker value than this edge within that dark value. You know what I mean? Like there's value changes within the values. You're welcome to put those in. Or if that's just not quite where you're at skill set wise, that's okay. Don't stress about it. Just move on.
Sarah and I think that this moth in particular that we found on this lovely night had recently hatched. Its wings seem to be kind of drying even as we met it. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's do a darker value there. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to a little bit of a smaller brush, and there's some colors happening here, here, and here. So the tip of the top of the moth is kind of like this darker value. I'm going to use indigo, and I'm going to mix some Q coral and some Q purple in there. So it's going to give me like this dark magenta. Again, that's me seeing a slight hint of a color like purple and exaggerating it. So I'm taking a round 2 here. And then I'm going to start to put in the body. And moth bodies, Luna moth bodies are very furry actually. So I'm going to do some.
That's another moth hallmark.
Kind of texture.
Furry bodied. I'm a moth, it turns out.
That was funny.
Thank you. I've been saving that one for weeks.
I've been waiting when I can use it. And then for me, I like a smoother transition. So I just put in that really dark body. That next to the really light wings is kind of like a big jump. So I'm going to take some more of the green and kind of where the body meets the wings. I'm going to introduce a little bit of a darker value of green, just so it kind of blends into the body a little bit more instead of like such a stark end in contrast.
Oh my gosh. I just looked up. So like, I remember a fact from zoology class that butterflies and moths don't have mouths. They have little like straws, essentially. So they can't bite you, which is always nice. So I just Googled to make sure I wasn't going to say some false info.
Yeah.
Can butterflies bite? There are vampire butterflies in Asia.
What?
Yes. So some can.
Oh my gosh. Now, Michael, do you know why they have these like markings on their wings? They kind of look like eyes almost. Is that just to like distract or?
It's usually a predator deter. Like,
yeah.
If
deterrent.
you are hunting something and it sees you, you usually like stay in the shadows. So if it looks like eyes are looking at you all the time, you probably won't attack the butterfly.
Okay.
But also it could be for, attracting mates or whatever.
Okay. And these are just kind of like different colors here. I see a little bit of red. I see a yellow bit of gold. I see a little bit of that kind of like dark purple. And the other thing I want to encourage you guys to notice is what you see in a photo is not going to be the same thing that you see with your eyes. So if you are seeing something in person, really try and take notes mentally or wherever of what it is that you're actually seeing, because a photo will never capture what your eyesight can see. And actually, I've learned this recently, which is when I'm at like a place, like I was just at the beach and I was doing videos of like the sunset and stuff like that, the photo of what I was trying to capture looked nothing like the reference. And so then I started just taking short video clips because I have found doing video on my phone actually kind of captures the colors a little bit better, the scale of things a lot better than opposed to just a photo. So that's a little tip. Okay, so that feels really good. I'm just going to kind of see if I want to do like one more hint, maybe like one more wash of Q Gold, just for like fun.
People have always liked butterflies and moths. They're like very beautiful creatures. But I think early romanticism with them started because moths and butterflies love salt. And so like they're attracted to tears. And like they will land on, at nighttime, they'll like land on your face if you're crying and they'll drink your tears or like they're, yeah.
So you're telling me that if I just need to like go out in the middle of the night and feel some feels,
yeah,
maybe after like a bad painting or something like that,
the moths will love it and they'll land on your face.
The moths will just like,
yeah, they'll softly drink your tears away.
Oh my goodness, that is crazy.
Also blood, but that's darker.
Let's not talk about that.
They love blood and tears. They're kind of monsters, actually.
Yeah, actually, wait a second. Butterflies drink your blood and your tears. Okay, now, one last thing on this moth, which is moth antennas are, let me see if I can find a liner. Here we go. Okay, so this is what's interesting. Let me get a pencil. You can't see it in my reference photo, but it's actually a very strong indicator of a Luna moth, is their antennas come off like this, and then it actually creates this leaf shape.
Pretty.
Like that. And the overall shape is like this, but we're not doing outlines. We're just doing it with little lines off. And it's the most like delicate little thing. But those are the antennas that come off of this moth. So I'm going to add those because I want them to be in my painting, even though they're not in the reference. And the reason why they're not in the reference is they're there. See, one's going that way and one's going this way. They're just kind of wonky and they get lost in my hand. So there's no hand here, so you should be able to see them. And then I'm going to actually switch the perspective of which you can see them because I don't want people to be like, what is that? You know? So I'm just going to take a liner brush.
Although if you're looking at a painting of a moth and there's two things sticking out the top and you go, what is that? Come on. Get it together.
Okay, so really thin line. I'm going to have it come out. It's going to be pretty short, like that long. And maybe the next one can even be a little bit thinner. Okay, so that's like the main stem of the antennas. And so then the ones underneath or like that are coming next need to be thinner. So I'm going to be like the most gentle.
Oh my gosh, I just looked up. I never knew. What do you think moths sense with their antennas? You know what I mean? What are they searching for with those things?
What?
They have smell sensors on them.
Really?
Yeah, they're like exterior noses.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now you can get the littlest sense of these lines, and that's okay. What you don't want, because you have to think about the relationship of the size, right? So these are really thin antennas, and the things that are coming off of them are even thinner. So they should not be as thick as anything else on this butterfly. They need to be thinner than everything. On this moth. They need to be thinner than everything on the moth.
Like a trunk and a branch, if you will.
Yes, exactly. Exactly like that. Okay. So there is our Luna Moth. I feel really good about it. I love the colors. I love the hints of like orange and gold right here. The only thing is I kind of want maybe this to be a bit more green right here instead of gray.
Ooh, yes.
Let's add that. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, and now we get to do any finishing details. So this is where you get to have a lot of fun. I am going to, I'm going to flick some stars. Let's do some stars. I want to use like a cheaper brush though than my really nice brushes. So just use like a round 6. I also don't want any stars on my moth. So you can use a paper towel or just something to kind of hide. There we go.
Oh, yeah. I love how
All right.
crafty
And
that
I
was.
always love to do a test first to see. Oh, yeah. I'm glad I did that. Look how big that chunk was. Once you feel good about the splatter size that you're getting, you can take it to the paper. Okay, let's see how that did.
Lovely.
Oh, love it. Isn't it funny how adding stars really like makes things? I've noticed that adding stars and snow textures on winter paintings really adds something, really brings it to life. I think it talks to like the atmosphere. Okay, and then if you're feeling like I really want to do a hint, like a stronger glow, you can do that. You just have to decide where you want your glow to be coming from. Do you want it to be here, here, or in the corner? I'm going to have it, what do you think, like right up here?
Absolutely right there. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Just a little sliver. Okay.
Perfect.
I'm going to dry this, and then we'll remove the tape, and then we'll do a calendar flip through. All right. Let's remove our tape very carefully. Now, I use Holbein soft tape, which for the most part does not rip. But if there is a chance of it's ripping, it is always right at the beginning of me removing the tape. So I tend to be very gentle and extra careful.
Oh, I was holding my breath.
Oh, I had the tiniest little bleed. That's where it was clipped. Sometimes the clip can pull the tape away.
That makes sense. I feel like that hole is a dangerous part for ripping.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You got to be careful around that too.
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, should I paint on September's? Yeah. Okay. Every month. I know I'm going to do it. I know one day I'm going to mess it up. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do the
flip
full flip through. So I'll start at the beginning.
Flip through.
Flip through.
All right. Give the people what they want.
Okay, so here's our calendar.
Wow,
It's
what a
cute.
beautiful cover.
Isn't it so cute?
Oh, yes.
Okay. January,
Lovely.
February,
Exhilarating.
March,
Jubilant.
April,
Awe-inspiring.
May,
Lovely.
June,
Joyous.
July,
Excellent.
August,
Righteous.
September.
So good. Oh my God. Look, I did all those. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you have fun with this. I hope that you feel free to kind of explore different compositions or how you can play with this, or maybe you do want to put in a hand or something like that. Like, this is your painting. So please remember that, like, my whole goal with doing these is basically to get you guys to a point where you don't need me anymore. And as a business, that is maybe not the smartest thing. But
as a teacher,
that's really all I care about. I really only care about that you guys are choosing to take the time to allow creativity to be constant in your life, because there are so many benefits from it. It allows you to connect with yourselves and others. It allows you to feel things. It allows you to express yourself. It's really scary and hard to do, especially in the beginning. But if you can sit through that discomfort, the amount of just the vibrancy that it will bring to your life is worth it. It's so worth it. And so anyways, all of that is to say, take this and run with it. Do whatever you want. I love it when people do something different. I love it when people just need to do what I'm doing. That's okay too. So I'll post all the supplies and the outline in the description. Thank you so much for painting with me. And if you want your own calendar, you can find it at letsmakeart.com. We'll see you later. Bye.